Hello everyone, good morning. How are you today? I hope you all guys in a good condition. So for today we would like to talk about test and self-report measures. Before we start the material, let me introduce ourselves. My name is Luh Putu Diantari and my partner is Okta Widiadnyana. So the first material is criteria of a good test. In criteria of a good test, there are several elements. The first is objectivity. The test that relevant to objectivity is multiple choice. Why? Because multiple choice can be applied by scoring key and anyone can agree with this method. Simpelnya, multiple choice dapat dimengerti dan mudah dipahami dan juga ada key atau kunci untuk tes tersebut. Number two is standard condition of administration and scoring. A well-developed test will include a manual procedure that should be followed by any situation that might affect an individual situation. The namely of procedure is standardized test. And then the third one is standard from interpretation. The test typically interpret relative to something external test. And then fourth one is fairness between two groups of equal ability with respond to construct measured by the test. For example, dari kelas math dan juga language itu tidak bisa disamakan tesnya karena mereka berbeda jurusan dan mereka berbeda pembahasan dan pemahaman. And then the fifth one is test validity. The degree of suitability between question and a set other question. There is five main types evidence for demonstrating the validity of test score interpretation. The first is evidence from test content. This part refers to relationship between content and construct claim to measure. And then the second one is advance from response process. Jadi bagaimana respon dari partisipan tes tersebut. Apakah tes tersebut terlalu mudah atau tes tersebut terlalu sulit untuk dijalani oleh partisipan. And then the next one is evidence from internal structure. Jadi dari internal tes tersebut apakah ada kendala baik itu dari tata bicara atau grammar dan juga structure lainnya. And then next one is evidence from relationship to another variable. Jadi tidak hanya dari satu variabel, tes juga harus dari beberapa variabel yang bisa membangun sebuah tes. And then the last one is evidence from consequences of testing. Jadi bagaimana konsekuensi ke belakangnya dari tes tersebut, apakah berdampak buruk kah, berdampak baik kah, atau the strength-nya lebih banyak kah, atau weakness-nya lebih banyak, seperti itu. And then number 6 is test reliability. Consistency of measuring or testing of measuring tools. This can be in the form measurement from the same measuring instrument that will give the same result or for more subjective measurement. Whether two refer give similar scores. In reliability of the test, there are several measurements that have developed a different approaches, namely the first, alternative from reliability. A second one is pretest reliability, and then the third one is internal consistency. The fourth one is inter-tester reliability. The fifth one is generalizability theory, and then the last one is standard error measurement. In standard error measurement ada rumus, yaitu SM sama dengan S akar 1 dikurang R11. Jadi itu cara untuk mencari standar error measurement. The last one is items response theory. Scoring system that priorities the characteristic of each question. The scoring system does not only take into account the number of questions that are answered correctly or incorrectly, but also considered whether or not a question is difficult. In item response theory, there are three elements. The first is assumption of item response theory, and then the second one is advantage of item response theory, and the last one is the mathematics of item response theory. And then the next material is approach to measurement. In approach to measurement is a test that is used to measure how much students learn and also evaluate program decide to support the program. There are four elements to support approach to measurement. The first is standardized and locally considered test, and then second one is refreshing of scores, and then the third one is computer-based testing, and then the last one individual and group test. And then all of my presentation, the next presentation will be continued by my friend Okta Widiadnyana. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. Now I would like to continue the presentation about the types of test and self-report measure. Okay, the first elements, performance tests. Performance tests, a large number of performance tests are available for use in research and practice. These are very widely in the construct they measure, the format of the items, and the type of score they produce. Okay, there are the four various. The first intelligence test. Intelligence tests provide estimates of a person's general intellectual level in sampling performance on various intellectual tasks. The second, aptitude tests. Aptitude tests are intended to predict the person's future performance in a particular types of skill or area of assessment. Tests are available to measure aptitudes for many academic subjects, occupations, and area of creative assessments. Okay, the third assessment test. There are many standard assessment tests available. Some are intended to measure students' knowledge or content facts, but the trend is to include more test items that assess higher level of cognitive processing. And the last, diagnostic test. Suppose your research project involves improving students' learning difficulties or evaluating the effectiveness of a remedial program. In these situations, a diagnostic test may be helpful in identifying a suitable study sample. Diagnostic tests usually focus on the ultimate performance spectrum and provide a detailed picture of students' level of performance in various skills involving that subject. Okay, there are the various from performance tests. Next, personality measure. Assess individual difference in aspect of personality such as traits, needs, psychological disorders, values, value, and attitudes. Most of them are self-reports as in paper and pencil format that ask individual to respond to items that inquire about the occurrence of certain behaviors, dogs, and feelings in their lives. And in personality measure, there are the three, four, five, six, seven varies. The first, personality inventories. Assess multiple personality traits in a single self-report instrument and respond to items that ask about the occurrence of certain behaviors, dogs, and feelings. And the second, projective technique quiz is provide a more push stimulations and freedom of response. The third, measure of specific personality characteristic. Focus on a single personality characteristic or small set of related characteristic. And the fourth, measure of self-concept, which refer to how positive individuals feel about themselves in general. And the fifth, measure of learning style and habits. Over a period of time, students develop a distinctive way of approaching a learning task. The sixth, attitude skill can be uh, defined as an individual's perspective or inclinations towards a certain object, for example, a person, object, idea, and etc. And the last, measure of vocational interest inventory. Typical personality characteristic require individuals to express their level to interest in or preference for various types of activities, sports, hobby, books, and other aspects of everyday. Okay, next, obtaining informations. About the test in planning research, research sometimes selects the first test they identify that appears to measure to construct they wish to study. They may then face criticisms that the test is invalid for the construct or inappropriate for the sample. This problem can be avoided by determining the range of tests available and gathering detailed information about it before choosing one. And the last, primary and secondary. A variety of reference books and online research engines are available to help you identify tests that measure the construct uh, you want to study in your research. Some of these are indexed, which are commonly called preliminary sorts, which allow us to find tests that measure a particular construct. Okay, the next submaterial. Using tests in your research project. There are the four elements. The first, developing your own test. The development of a new test is a complex and difficult process that requires considerable training in educational and psychological measurements. Therefore, it's recommended that we ensure that there are no matching tests before developing your hour. And the second, resistance to tests. The widespread use of a test to answer such questions has made them a target on scrutiny and public criticism. The questions like who should be admitted to college and at which college, who should receive special credit for their academic assessments, who has to retake a grade because of academic failures, has made them a target of scrutiny and public criticism. Even if you intend to use the test for a research project, the negative attitudes for some groups and individuals toward testing in general can create problem for you. Okay, the next testing in field setting. If you plan to administer the test at school or other institutions, as part of your research studies, you will need a reach an agreement with the administrator. Because we have to carefully schedule to test to fit the routines of, of the institutions. For example, school usually have a fixed time schedule for its class periods. If testing kits extends beyond these class periods, likely to cause problem for the teacher and also the okay, and the last, winning the comparisons of test taker. The comparisons of research participants is critical to obtaining meaningful test scores. Before administering the test, ask yourself how you can mix match their comparisons and motivate to them to perform at the highest level. In the case of an ability test, or in the harness way, in the case of a personality, attitudes, or interest test. Okay, everyone, that's all about our presentations. And thank you. Goodbye.